the fact that it's really not as hard as it seems. So this is going to be a somewhat casual class because I want you to talk to me, and I want you to talk to me about what your experiences are and what your holdups are, because I personally have had video and podcasts on my list of things to do professionally for years because I know the value of it. But there have been things that have held me back, and I suspect that there are things that hold you back as well. I'd really like to hear from you. Are you, first, yes or no, are you doing video or podcasts right now? Are you actively doing video and podcasts to market your business? Now, I'm not talking about property tours and that sort of thing, but I'm talking about to promote yourself. No, yes, Tracy, we know you are. You and Rose are killing it with videos. So no. And okay, so answer me this question. Have you wanted to? Have you thought about it? Have you said to yourself, I need to do this, or I want to do this? Yes, 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 yes. Nothing yet, but want to badly. You know, one of the things, I've done a few live videos. I'm always afraid I'm not going to look good. Yeah, we're going to talk about that too, Joanne. So everybody that I know, that I work with, every single client that I work with says, I know I should do videos, or I want to do videos. I have a videographer who is phenomenal. And whenever I mention him, people always go, oh, I need to talk to him. I want to do videos. But what they really want is somebody to do that for them. And because we don't want to get in front of the camera, we're going to talk about some of that today. But one of the things I always tell people when I'm doing a training, or if I'm doing a consultation, or working with someone, is we're all the same. We all have a lot of the same challenges and obstacles, and we're all operating from pretty much the same space. We have a tendency to look at other people who are knocking it out of the park, like Tracy and Rose, for example. And we go, oh gosh, they're so much better than me. And it's not. They are particularly good. I'll give them props for that. But it can be done. So today we're going to talk about, one, it's not as hard as it seems. You really can do it. So our three main points are how to get past that hesitation and the head games that we play with ourselves. One simple way to get started just got easier. We're going to talk about that. And the easiest platforms to use for video or podcasts, either one of those. So we're going to try to keep this kind of light. And this is what you guys are probably used to seeing, videos of property tours and that sort of thing. And that is not what we're going to talk about today. I'm going to assume you're doing that because that's part of your business and it helps sell your properties. And it's just kind of a given. But what we're going to talk about is video and podcast as part of your advertising or marketing strategy. And let's see. Yeah, that kitchen was pretty sweet. So this also segues with the branding that we talked about in the very first session. And if you've come to several of these sessions with me, you'll notice that I reference back to that branding, the personal branding session that we did, the very first one, because it's so important. I reference it very often. All 5 of the sessions that we're doing are intertwined, and this one is as well. And your personal branding is going to be very important when you start creating a strategy for your video or podcast. And we'll talk about why that is. But first, let's talk about why. Why would you want to do videos? Why would you want to do podcasts? And we're going to talk about some stats because I like numbers. So 2 billion users log in to YouTube every month. 2 billion people are on YouTube every month. 73% of the adults in the United States use YouTube, as opposed to Facebook and Instagram. And I want you to look at those numbers for just a second. That's pretty significant. 73% of adults use YouTube, 69% use Facebook, and 37% use Instagram. Those are some pretty compelling numbers. 81% of 15 to 25-year-olds in the US use are on YouTube. But you knew that, right? 15 to 25-year-olds love YouTube. Over 70% of YouTube views are on mobile. YouTube views on connected TV screens have increased 39%. If you or anyone in your family, that includes grandchildren, nieces, nephews, have watched YouTube on a television while you were around, say yes. Tell me if you have been around anyone or you yourself have watched YouTube on a television. Mm-hmm. My grandchildren, I have 2 granddaughters that are the love of my life. And when they come to visit me, they take over the TV, and that is all that plays on the TV is YouTube. And that particular segment is growing more and more. And then this last statistic, I really want you to pay attention to. Relevance to personal interest is 1.5, a little more than that, 1.5 times more important to viewers than production value. So the production quality is not as important as the content and what they're watching. So those are all really important statistics, and it demonstrates why video is so important. But I want to clarify something, because I know there's at least one person in this room right now that's thinking, I don't really care all that much about 15 to 25-year-olds. Of course, the kids are on YouTube. Did you think that when I said that? 81% of 15 to 25-year-olds, you're not really caring about those 15-year-olds much, are you? But what if I told you that 71% of 26 to 35-year-olds are on there, 67%, 66%, 58%, all the way across? Those numbers are growing, and as our population ages, they're just going to continue to grow. More and more people are on YouTube, and we rely on it. Do you go to YouTube for how-to videos? Yes or no? Is YouTube something that you turn to when you're looking for information? Yes, yes, yes. Very good. So let's clarify again. 73% of adults in the US use YouTube, whereas Facebook is 69%, Instagram's 37%. I love a good visual, and I thought this one was worth us looking at. So when you're looking at your marketing strategies and where you're going to put your focus, your time, or your money, which we both know are the same, time is money, think about this. Now, Facebook owns Instagram, so those two are married to each other. But YouTube, 73%, higher than Facebook at 69%. So it's really something, it's a platform that you've got to pay attention to, and you have to figure out what your space looks like on YouTube. That's important. So let's touch on why podcasts for just a second. So our podcast, 75% of Americans are now familiar with podcasting, which is up 10 million from last year. How many of you listen to a podcast? Have you ever listened to a podcast? Yes or no? If you've listened to a podcast, because 40% of Americans have listened to a podcast, and that's in 2017. And now in 2020, they're reporting that at 55%. Let's see. Yes, yes, yes. No, but my husband does. That's very interesting, Megan, and I'm going to tell you why in just one second. More than 100 million Americans listen to at least one podcast every month. More men, Megan, listen, according to the stats, and I didn't include it, but more men listen to podcasts than women. But women do listen. And more Americans listen to podcasts than go to church. Monthly podcast listening is growing fastest among older Americans. And we could guess all day long why that is, but I can tell you that I listen to podcasts more and more. I listen to podcasts when I'm walking, and it's great because I'm learning things and I'm exercising at the same time. Weekly podcast listeners tune in an average of 6 podcasts per week. So the key, of course, is, people aren't listening to podcasts just because they want to hear someone talk. They're listening to podcasts because they're learning something. So keep that in mind. They're learning something or they're being entertained, one of the two. And those are important points. So Now we know why we want to be on YouTube, why we want to be in video, and we know why podcasts are important. What's stopping us from doing it? You've known that. Nothing that I told you. I didn't have to convince you that you need to be on video or in a podcast, right? Yes.
Janice, it's kind of funny is that we discuss this all the time, Rose and I, and hear my baritone voice, and I absolutely lose my mind. I see my chin. I hate my hair. I think
this gets me every time.
Every time. But you know what? I find that the more people that you sort of people become comfortable with you being there, and they don't really see that. They're really more interested in the information that you're presenting. That's my experience with it.
Well, and we're all most critical of ourselves.
I always say that. You're your own worst critic.
Absolutely. And we don't appreciate the things that make us uniquely us. I actually, I always do some research on every class that I give. And I did some research on, overcoming the fear of being on video last night. And I really love psychology. And so I went to a psychology paper about it. And one of the psychology pieces of it, this was interesting to me, but I'm kind of nerdy, so bear with me. So one of the reasons psychologically that we have such an issue with the way we look on camera is that we're not used to looking at ourselves that way. So we're used to looking in a mirror, and when we're on video, we're actually a flipped. Yes. And so they actually had several actors, very, very popular actors, and they had a picture of them flipped in a picture of the mirror image, and then, face forward. And there was one actress, I don't remember who it was now, beautiful, beautiful lady. And they said that she does not like to look at herself in her videos because she doesn't like the way she looks. And she's beautiful, absolutely beautiful, drop dead gorgeous. But if you look at those two images, she looks very different. My ex-husband's face is just a little, it's not completely symmetrical. And in photographs, it's very obvious. Like but when you look at him in person, it doesn't look that way. And he was so self-conscious about it because all he ever saw was himself in pictures. And he hated it so much. And so what you have to, the only thing you can really do to overcome that is talk to yourself. That's really the only thing you can do. Now, I have a client that does a lot of live videos, so many. And I tell this story to people all the time. And I said, I'm so impressed with you. You do so many videos, and this is what I do for a living, and I'm not so good at doing it. And she said, let me tell you a secret. She said, I have never one single time watched one of my videos. Not one single time. She does live videos and she just shoots them. She knocks it out of the park. She's real. She's her. People love her because she's her. We're not trying to get a date. That's not what we're on here for. You have to keep yourself in your lane. And if you can't handle it, then don't look. Just shoot it and go. And don't pick yourself apart. Nobody's perfect. You've got a beautiful actress who hates the way she looks on video. So if that happens, what makes you think just regular old you is going to think you're amazing? So, just get over yourself. And that sounds really rude. I'm saying that to me too. I have to tell myself that all the time. And I have to remind myself that no one is perfect. And I get a lot of positive feedback from people. And, do I always believe it? No, but it doesn't matter. It's okay to ask for help. So that's an important piece. I'm always an advocate for getting help. Ask people that, friends, family, coworkers, ask for help. But if you need to hire somebody to help you, do it. One of the best things that you can do for yourself when you're on video, and I think that Tracy and Rose do a good job of this, it to me anyway, they convey it in their videos. Remember what you love. And that goes back to your personal branding. the more centered you are on who you are and being yourself and being the person that you love and doing the things that you love, the more that's going to come out and the more you're going to be able
I think
to portray
people
that.
really want you to succeed. People
Yes.
want people at the base of everybody. We're watching people because we want the information. I realized that. It's like an epiphany. It's like, you got to get around yourself. You have to get out in front of yourself, because if not, it can be a real inhibitor. You know, you have to really step away from that.
You know, people ask me, because I seem very effortless on videos, and it's not, I'm not trying to toot a horn, okay? It's just two main things. Pretend like you're having a conversation with yourself or just one person. Don't let yourself get overwhelmed by imagining your audience. Like, just talk like you're having a conversation with someone, because that gives authenticity. Like, you don't want to script your whole video, because when you're scripted, you sound like you're reading from a piece of paper, and people don't like that. They want authenticity. They want realness. If you stumble over a couple of words, be like, oh, sorry, I meant to say blah, blah, blah. And then it's like, it makes you human. It makes you real. If there's a little bit of wind in the background, so what? It's human. It's real. You know, if you have to clear your throat, be like, oh, excuse me, sorry. You know, you just got to keep it real every time.
And since most of the demographic probably on here is closer to my age, then, you know, I feel that honestly, it's true. You know, you have a demographic that may not feel, we weren't raised with a video camera in front of us. That wasn't, it was, you know, we didn't have this. I'm going to tell you what, it's way easier. And Jannis made a valid point when she said, sometimes you just post the darn thing. Just post it. She was talking about the actors. Don't overthink about it. You're going to see the things that you don't like. Just push it. Just push the button and send it out into, you know, the Facebook sphere and be done with it, because the information that you have is valid and has value. So just do it.
We have a video that we're posting today, and I look really stupid in one part of it, but I don't care.
And it gets easier, right? It gets easier. You know, if you think about, I always use this example. How many of you watched the series House, the doctor series? Loved it. Love it, love it, love it, love it. Well, if you watched all the seasons, and do you remember the first season? If not, go back. If you've watched House, go back and watch the very first episode of House, and you will see how different those characters are. They're not very good. Like, I had an opportunity to go back and watch the first episode, and I was shocked, because it was not the same House that I remember that he evolved to, because it took them time. These are professional actors and actresses. It's what they get paid to do. They were, you know, that main character, I don't remember his name, it's House. He is a very accomplished actor, but in his first season of House,
Hugh Laurie, that's his name.
Hugh Laurie, yes, amazing, great actor.
He's so good.
And I'm telling you, go watch the first episode. You will be shocked. You'll be like, what in the world is this? It's not the same characters. They're kind of awkward with each other. You know, they evolved. And if the professionals evolve, what do we expect from ourselves? You know, I mean, we have to be easy on ourselves and remember what we love. And then this last little pointer, this is my favorite. And I'm going to tell you why this is my favorite pointer on this page, because this is what worked for me. So I have a hard time. Well, it's not as hard as it was, actually, but I had a hard time doing exactly what Rose said. You know, just talk to the camera like you're talking to yourself, and it's okay, and it's not a big deal, and, you know, don't worry about it. I just couldn't get past it. I tried and I tried and I tried, and I just couldn't do it. I would record these videos, and I would be like, hi, I'm Jannis Paulk, and I don't know what to say. And it was terrible. It was just terrible. And then I had an opportunity to interview someone, and I was talking to somebody, and it was good, and it felt good. And so that's what I do. I started a series of videos. I've done about 15 now. I love it so, so much. And I jump on Zoom, and it's just the two of us. I can look at them, and they're looking at me, and we're chatting, and I'm just me, and I love it, and I love it, and I love it. And now I'm almost addicted to it. Like, I want to do all the videos. I want to do all the podcasts. I want to do all these things. but it wasn't that way. I literally spent 10 years. You know, YouTube just had their anniversary from the first time a video was posted. It's been 15 years. Do you remember? Yes or no? Do you remember when YouTube first came about? 15 years. Yes or no? You remember it? I remember it. I remember thinking it was kind of weird, and I don't know that I really predicted that it would become what it has become. But I'm so glad that it's there. It's a great tool, and it's a great marketing tool too. So yes, I didn't use it either. I didn't use it for years and years. How about you?
So I just wanted to say something funny. We got so excited the other day on last Monday or something. We came back and
After your class,
we've been posting videos, and when we post them to Facebook, we also post them to our YouTube channel. If you don't know, we have a YouTube channel, and we now have 11 subscribers.
Yay!
We got so excited when we saw that number. I'm one of them, so I was like, wait, it's only 10. And then she's like, wait, I'm one of them too, so it's only 9. But it's still exciting. Like, you can't expect to have a lot of subscribers on YouTube, but if people watch your videos, that's what matters.
And really, it's an audience that you're going to build where a lot of people are not at. That's the key, kids. That's really the big deal here. Everybody's parked on Facebook. Who knows? There may be a whole new place for you to start developing business relationships, becoming the expert, and showing people who you really are.
And hey, if you subscribe to our channel, we'll subscribe to yours.
Hey, and on that note, I'm glad you brought that up. And I don't know if you guys are doing it or not. I'll go check you out and see. But YouTube, the description of your video is a great place to get backlinks. So
Yes.
It's a great way to boost your search engine optimization, you know, and get more exposure to your website. And it's
now we're going to go back and do that.
Yeah, absolutely. Put the links to your Facebook page, put the links to your website, and you can put them at the bottom of the description. It's not about whose physical eyeballs land on it. It's about Google finding it and seeing that link to your website. So, you know, there's another bonus there that a lot of people don't think about. And if you look at, I gotta revisit this comment here. But if you look at a lot of videos, the descriptions of their videos, they don't have that because they don't know. They don't know to do it. Dawn says, one of my first videos on YouTube has music that sounds like it should be in a porn. I love it. That's amazing. How do you get a YouTube channel? Okay, we'll talk about that.
Doesn't Google give you a YouTube channel? Do you want to address that?
No, because we'll go down a rabbit hole.
Okay.
We should probably put YouTube. That should probably be a class. YouTube, setting up and optimizing a YouTube channel and using it for search engine optimization.
I'll make a note of it.
Yeah, do that, because that'd be a great class. And thank you for asking that question, because it really is valid. But it's a whole nother class, and I don't want to keep you guys for 2 hours again. Goodness gracious, I apologize. Okay, so the next thing, so the time is right. The time is right. So I have had a virtual scheduling system forever. I have given people the opportunity to consult with me and do work sessions. And all of these things forever, and nobody would ever do it because people the time wasn't right. The time is right. So right now, you remember I told you that one thing just got so easy, and that's Zoom. So I mentioned to you that I started doing a series of interviews, and I love it so much. It got me past that head game that I have been playing with myself for a decade or better. And I get to do something that really matters to me. You know, it's something that I love. It pulls out the passion in me, and I love it. And it's so simple. I have a basic membership. I do pay for my Zoom account because I need some of those features. It's like $15 a month. It's nothing. It's a no-brainer. Do it. And And so I jump on there. I do several. I do at least one a day, and it sharpens the sword. And now I'm ready to do other things. I'm ready to do videos that it's just me, and I'm okay with that. And if you had told me even 2 months ago that I would not only be okay with it, but I'd be excited about it, I'd have said, you're crazy. I've been trying for a decade and I couldn't do it. But I have done it. So I would like to ask you to think about who you could interview and who you could talk to, even if it's just to get yourself past that comfort level, you know, and get started. And that's the key, is getting started. So has anyone here done a Facebook Live video? Have you ever done a Facebook Live, either on your personal profile or on your professional page? Have you ever done a Facebook Live? No, always, Tracy, of course. No, yes. Okay. So there are a few people who have done them. I personally don't like doing Facebook Lives because I was always so darn self-conscious about myself. Megan, yes. Dawn's husband does them. It's great. If you have never done a Facebook Live, why? Tell me why you've never done one. If you've never done one, why? Is it because you don't want to, you never thought about it, or you didn't know what to do on it, or you were self-conscious about yourself, scared of making a mistake? Dawn, I feel you. It is scary. Joanne, I feel you on that too. Look stupid. You're not going to look stupid, Chris, but yes, I feel you. Self-conscious about, absolutely, all those things. And all of those things, too self-conscious. And you have to be able, don't know how. Now, Jenny, we can get past that. Scared I'll look stupid, Terry, I promise you, you will not. And the key, though, is to get out of your head. So the first step to getting into video is to get out of your head. So the way I was able to do that was by having video interviews. That's how I did it. And I even started out, let me tell you how self-conscious I was and how deep it was for me. Not only did I start out with video interviews, but I started out in group interviews. Like there were 4 of us on there because I didn't even want to be one-to-one. I wanted to be one small box of 4. Because that's how much I wanted people to be distracted from seeing me on the screen. And if that's what you do, that's what you do. So do a round table where you invite other people, record it. So here's where it gets beautiful. I told you at the beginning, we're going to talk about how it just got easier to do this. So Zoom, you can host this meeting. You can record it. You can record it in gallery view. And when it records and you download it to your computer, it will give you the video and the audio file. So now what you have is you have a video that you can load to YouTube and then share to Facebook, but you also have an audio file that you can upload and start creating a podcast with. Pretty smooth, huh? Not too shabby. So that is exactly what I'm doing with my interview series. It's called Outside the Box. I'm talking to business owners and just people really about how the pandemic has affected their industry and how they've pivoted and what's going on. And I'm going to tell you that the general consensus is that people are making moves. It's so exciting. So right now I'm publishing those to YouTube, and I have a whole distribution plan that helps promote the person I interview and myself. And then on my vision board is converting that to a podcast because I have all the audio files. So all I have to do right now is get someone to help me put together an intro for my podcast, and I will hire someone. I have someone that does this sort of thing to handle the editing. Let me tell you a mistake a lot of people make, myself included. So when I started my interview series, I said, this is not a big deal. You know, I have all the skills to do these things. I do graphic design. I can do video editing. I build websites. I do all of these things. I have skills in all of them, varying levels of expertise, but I can do it. I can do all of it. So I said, I've got this. So I handled scheduling. I was recruiting guests. I was recording my videos. I was downloading them. I was 3 videos. I edited them. I loaded them to YouTube. Sounds like a lot of stuff, right? Yeah. It was way too much stuff. There was no way that I could viably create a series that had a regular release schedule that would actually do something significant for me if I was going to do it all myself. There just was no way. And I have the skills to do it. I'm comfortable doing all those things, but there are only so many hours in a day. And so I stopped and I backed up. I didn't stop recording. I kept right on recording. And I have, like I said, 12 or 14 videos in the hole right now, 3 that I edited. And I went and I got my videographer on board and I got my virtual assistant. And I said, okay, meeting time. This is what I need done. I need an intro. I need these videos edited, very basic. I need them loaded to YouTube. I need good descriptions so we've got good SEO going on. I want to promote these people who are my guests. I need a press release created for everyone. We need a release schedule. I needed a blog article on my website. I need it posted on all my social media, LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all this stuff. I can't do it. What I can do is interview people. I'm really good at that. I'm good at talking, in case you hadn't noticed. And so they said, okay. So we sat down and we worked out a plan. We created forms and systems and we've got it rolling. And we have not yet started, even though I've got 12 or 14 interviews in the hole, we have not yet started our official plan. I've been interviewing people for about 3 weeks now. And I keep saying we're gonna start our official release tomorrow. And we're gonna do that tomorrow. So Kathy's iPhone is not muted.
Sorry, give me 1 second.
That's okay. That's all right. It just popped up. It was unusual. So anyway, you have to have a plan, and you've got to realize that, you can't, nor should you do it all. You should not do it all. You can have help, and I can help you if you need to create a simplified plan. And, somebody asked earlier, summarize what Jannis does. And what Jannis is really good at is creating simplified plans that work for the end result. That's what I'm very good at. And so that's what I've done with my interview series. That's what I chose to do. It's what's going to work for me. And we will start releasing 3 videos a week is the plan right now. Only because I have such a great backlog of videos. So the time is right. Right now, the time is right. The tools are there. And more importantly, people are familiar with them. It won't be difficult to get somebody to talk to you if you want to start out that way. If head game is your issue, I recommend that you start out that way. And we all have so many natural partners. I know that in your space, in the real estate space, there's so many natural partners, like Tracy and Rose, for example, are great natural partners. And, your mortgage brokers and, insurance people. There's so many people who are natural partners that I'm sure would be happy to share the promotional value of creating an ongoing series. And it doesn't have to be 3 times a week, like I'm trying to do, but that's just because I have so many interviews and I just love doing it. You can do it once a week. You can do it once a month. You can do whatever works for you. But now's the time to get started. So just do it. Just do it. Start small and understand that you will evolve as you learn. So from the time I started the Outside the Box series, like I said, I started interviewing about 3 weeks ago. I had a vision in my mind of what I was going to do. And it has evolved so much in just that short 3-week period. Every single time I do an interview, I think of something that I need to either add as a standard or I need to change, something I can do to make it better, something I like, something I don't like. The very first interview that I did was actually with Luis Perez. The first general interview was with Luis Perez, and who is a wonderful person, great to talk to, very intelligent, very eloquent. And he and I talked for about 45 minutes, I think. It was great. But it was too long. It was way too long. And so first thing I learned was I gotta pare this down. So every time I talk to somebody, I say, okay, we're going to talk for about 10 or 15 minutes, and we're just going to be casual, and we're just going to chit chat, and here's our subject. And then we do it. And so that was the first thing I learned. And then I learned that I wanted to start the interviews the same. And I would say, hi, welcome to Outside the Box 2020, where I'm interviewing business owners and thought leaders. Can you tell I've done that a few times? And today I'm talking with Tracy Candle of Supreme Title. And Tracy's going to tell us, and I thought, wow, just like a couple of interviews ago. So we're talking after I've already done a dozen, I realized that was way too much. So now I say, hi, welcome to Outside the Box 2020. And today we have Tracy Candle with Supreme Title, because all that other stuff was unnecessary. But it took me a dozen interviews to figure that out. So going back to get out of your head, nobody's perfect, everybody evolves. Hugh Laurie did a crappy job in his first season.
Jannis, can I ask you a question about
time?
You know, can you talk about value and time? Like maybe like, you know, anytime you read things about video and podcasts, it always discusses how much time you should spend. Do you have any input on that? I mean, I know we're discussing a little bit of it now, but is there any sort of tried and true, like if you're going to do this, you should only spend like 30 seconds. If you're going to do this, you should spend 15 minutes.
Because you only have 20 seconds of maintaining people's attention
for
on
small
a video.
Stuff. But for podcast type stuff, do you have any input that you could give anybody? Any tips or tricks about that? Or
yes, that's a very, very good question, actually. And it goes back, one of the things you hear me say a lot is that a lot of what we do in digital marketing is not as much for actual people as it is for the system, which is somewhat unfortunate because it's hard to know, well, what's for the system and what's for people. And oh, Lewis is here. I was just talking about him. I hope he didn't hear me talking good about him, because I always talk good about him and he gets a big head about it. So anyway, I lost my train of thought. I'm sorry. So there are things that we do for people and there are things that we do for search engine optimization. Never, ever forget, every single thing that you put on the internet is an asset and has the opportunity to be a piece of your search engine optimization. So there are things that you can go on and on and on about, and it's okay. But if you really want user attention, then Tracy's right. It should be short and sweet and to the point. You don't want to do what I did with my Outside the Box interview and start with this boring, dry intro. Hi, it's Outside the Box 2020, and I'm so important. Nobody wants to listen to me. So you can't do that if you really want eyeballs and attention. Tracy and Rose do a really, really good job of entertaining you. So once they've done that a couple of times, you're going to be more likely to watch them. It's entertainment. And you know, they make a point. They always make a point. But it depends on what direction you take. So my videographer, I told him, I said, you know, I'm really trying hard to keep these interviews to 10 or 15 minutes because I know people lose attention. And he said, whoa, wait a minute. It depends on your subject. So I do a series, kind of a sub-series of my Outside the Box 2020. It's a healthcare series, and once a week I interview my primary care doctor. He's amazing. The first one I did with him was 45 minutes. The second one I did was 30 minutes. I'll do another one with him tomorrow, and it'll probably be 30 minutes too, because that content is deep. And if somebody's watching that video, it's because they want to learn something about a very specific subject. So will they be inclined to listen to 15, 30, even 45 minutes? Maybe. You know, they'll definitely be more inclined to listen to 15, 30 minutes of that than they would me talking about Lewis and his business and how wonderful he is. You're probably only going to listen to that for about 2 minutes, and then you're going to bounce. So short answer is it depends on the content, and it depends on your purpose for the video. So get to your point as quickly as possible, or start. One of the things that I like to do, you'll notice all the trainings that I've done, I've started with 3 points that we're going to cover in the session. Start with that. Start with that little teaser of what you're going to cover. And then another thing that's very standard is, you know, we do a little giveaway at the end. So there's a bonus. There's an Easter egg is what we want to call it.
Is it the end? Are we ready?
No.
Oh, sorry. I heard you say we're doing the giveaway. All right. My bad.
Oh,
bye.
Okay. Are you trying to run me off?
No, of course not.
I know I'm trying to watch our time, and I know I'm getting there. So consistency. Let me go on. Consistency is the key. Set a realistic schedule or plan and then stick to it. Realistic is the key word here. And consistency really is the key. And you notice I told you that I'm going to be releasing videos 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Once I start that release schedule, there is absolutely no way I can stop it. That's why I haven't started it yet, because I'm not ready. When I'm ready, which hopefully is this week, we're going to start releasing, and we're going to stay on that schedule, because consistency is the key. If you can only do a video once a month, only do a video once a month. I'm here to tell you that once you start doing it and you get a few under your belt, you're going to like it, and you're going to want to do this, and you'll stay on it. But start slow if you have to. Start slow. It's okay. But be realistic, schedule, plan it, and stick to it. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Don't sweat the small stuff. Treat it like a diet. So if you mess up today, start over tomorrow. Don't just give it up. So if you go on a diet and you sit down and you eat a whole bag of candy, I don't know who would do that, or if they did that yesterday. Maybe I did. But I'm not doing that today. So you can start over. Tomorrow's another day. I intended to release my first healthcare video yesterday, and I didn't get to it because I had other work that got in the way. But today is a new day, and I'm going to start over. I'm not going to abandon my plan. I'm going to go back to my tip. Don't try to go it alone. Ask for help or hire help. Don't try to do this alone. You won't do it. And it's not because I think you're not good or that you don't have it in you. It's that I think everyone's plate is full, and we just need help. It's okay to ask for help. So ask for help. What do you need to get started? So really and truly just the basics. So I want to show you, I don't know if you can see my screen right now, but this is my super fancy Yeti mic that I paid $150 for, because I knew I was getting ready to do this series of videos, and I wanted to be super duper professional, and I wanted my audio to be really great. And you see here is the end of it, because it's not plugged in and I haven't used it yet. It's a great microphone, and I am. But in the meantime, I'm using these little freebie headphones, and it's good. Audio is important, but it's more important to start. Use what you have. I'm sure you have one of these. It came with my cell phone. Smartphone, yes, use a smartphone. I have a Logitech external camera. It's not all that great. I think I paid $60 or $75 for it, but it's just okay. And to be quite honest with you, most smartphones, if you've got a newer smartphone, is going to be better than that external camera that I'm using right now. So use your smartphone, use a headset. if you want to use a ring light for lighting, I do have a ring light. I'm going to reach up here and grab it. This is a ring light. I'm sure you're familiar with them. You can get one for about 10 bucks, I think, on Google. And who has one? Yeah, there we go. There we go. They're great. They're good for lighting up your face. Do you have one? Chime in. If you've got one, say yes. Yes. Yes, you've got one.
We don't just use this on our phones. So, you know, we can use it this way in selfie mode, of course, but we also use it like when we're taking videos and we need to light our faces up, we'll put it right here, leaning up on the computer so it illuminates our faces more for our videos.
Girls, if anybody's uncomfortable with maybe a wrinkle or two, this light will really help diminish that. So definitely.
It's wonderful.
They're very inexpensive. I think we got this for like 12, 13, 14,
10 to 15 bucks,
yeah,
just like that.
very inexpensive.
Yeah, I have mine. I'm actually sitting in my dining room and I have mine clipped to the light fixture over the table.
Smart.
And sometimes I use it and sometimes I don't. It just all depends. Like you said, it'll clear up a lot of things that that you want to hide. So putting a person in a video makes it 3 times more likely that the viewer will connect with the subject. That's a Jannis stat. I will be totally transparent. So, you know, I use a little example here. A lot of us will do videos, and I know I started out trying to do videos that were of everything but me because I was so uncomfortable. Do not do that. Do not do that. If I stumble on one of your videos and it's everybody but you, I'm going to come after you about it. Get in there. Get in there. People want to connect with you. Okay, platforms and software. Keep it super simple to just get started. Keep it super simple. Use Zoom for your video, unless you're doing Facebook Live, which then you just want to use your phone go live. That's fine. But if you want to record a video that you load to YouTube, use Zoom and interview somebody. See here for podcasts, and just write this down. For podcasts, oh, Lewis just shared a salesperson's guide to video. Nice. Thank you, Lewis. Thank you. That's a simple video gear recommendation. Lewis does a lot of video and he does a really good job. And you know, he's invested in some of his equipment. I don't know what all equipment that he has, but I've looked at a few of his videos and he's got a nice little setup. And it, you know, just all depends. The next slide, we're going to talk about that. It depends on what approach that you're going to take with it. But you'll notice, you know, if you've been to several of my classes now, you'll notice I've got my coworkers with me. I got Fred over here who's kind of judgy, and I got Flipper who's very happy. And that's part of my shtick. I like them. I did a lot of testing for environment and what I wanted to be in my environment. And I wanted it to be somewhat simple. I wanted there to be a focus on me, but I also wanted there to be something else. And these guys just kind of stepped up to the plate for me. So write these things down. Video, use Zoom and Facebook Live and load it to YouTube. For podcasts, I use Libsyn. And when I say I use Libsyn, I have a Libsyn account, and that's what we will be using. I haven't actually started publishing my podcast yet, but I did do a lot of research on it, and that is what I settled on. With that being said, I interviewed someone about a week ago who actually has a live podcast and has been doing one for a while, and they mentioned the Anchor app. And so write that down, Google it. I have not used it yet. I will try it. It's free. Libsyn is not. So I recommend, if you're going to do a podcast, try the Anchor app. There's no reason not to, especially when you're in that beginning phase of, you know, figuring it all out and kind of coming into your own. And there again, don't try to go it alone unless you just really, really want to and you feel like you can handle it. Ask for help or hire some help. Ask someone like Lewis. Lewis is wonderful about sharing his information. He's been doing some of these things. Reach out to him and ask him. See how I did that, Lewis? Okay, so your plan. Create a plan. Keep it simple in delivery and creative in content. And that is something that Tracy and Rose do a fabulous job of. They really do a good job. Ask them. Yes, he really is awesome at video marketing. So talk to him about it. Talk to Lewis, talk to Tracy and Rose. You know, come up with your video ideas, your podcast ideas. You don't have to do both. You could do one or the other if you want to. It's fine. You can do both, because if you use Zoom as a platform, if you decide, and you don't have to interview someone to use Zoom, you can just do it yourself. If you want to go solo, if you've got the intestinal fortitude to do that, by all means do it. But either way, you can use Zoom to record it, and then get a videographer if you don't want to handle the editing. The editing is a pain in the neck if you really want it to look professional. I have a source that can create an intro for you pretty reasonably. Take your logo or the name of your session and, you know, build it into a nice intro that you can drop in there. And I can tell you some free programs that you can use. Lewis has
there's a lot of drama, and you're making it really, really simple, Jannis. I think that there can be a lot of buildup around it, and really it is just starting it and getting going, but with helpful tips and tricks like you're offering, and somebody who you might know who might be able to do just an introduction, just to give it that little professional edge that I think a lot of the realtors want to stay focused on. I mean, shout out to me, guys. I mean, that is kind of the goal as well, is to stay professional and fun and still give information. Does that sound about right for some of you? I'd love to hear. Or not. But
I agree. And you know, you can, like Tracy, you talked about, you know, doing a little short video.
Yes.
And if you keep it fun, you know, in your wheelhouse, local excursions, like I was brainstorming last night, you know, like what kind of videos could a realtor do that would be fun, that wouldn't be dry, that people would actually look at. I would totally watch a realtor's video that went to, you know, local places and was like, hey, I'm over at, you know, the petting zoo today, and I'm going to go in and pet some llamas, you know, and go in, just do a quick little, this is where it is. And, you know, it's a local point of interest. And I mean, how fun is that? So once a week you get to go out and go somewhere and do something fun, do a little, you know, 3 to 5 minute video of you walking in or talking to someone there. You know, just think about the things that might be of interest to your buyers, to your sellers.
we are a big believer in that too. And we always say to people, if they're going to do that for you, if you're going to do that for them, think of what they'll do for you.
Yeah, absolutely. I am a huge advocate for supporting local business. Huge. I talk about it all the time. I try to really walk the walk. I post pictures on my own personal Facebook anytime I go out to dinner, or, you know, I go to a play or I go to a movie, whatever. I always try to support local business and encourage other people to go support them as well. And it works. Yes, Sunday I went out to the port and I went to Seafood Atlantic and I got the most delicious shrimp tacos. Highly recommend it. But I went because one of my clients told me about them, because they had seen me post about Sage Bistro in Cape Canaveral, who was struggling, who stayed open with takeout, delicious, wonderful food there. And so I posted about them. And so he reciprocated by telling me about Seafood Atlantic, and that's how it all works. And anyway, so those are just some ideas for you. Standard home walkthroughs, yeah. But add a yard tour. You walk around the yard, walk through the neighborhood, go to local parks, go to the schools, you know, all the things that your buyers are interested in. You know, what are the schools like? You know, how far is it to the park? If you have a property that is within walking distance to a park, go walk it. Do a live. start at the house and go, we're going to walk to the park together. Look at this, check this out. And, you know, just those kinds of little things are super easy to do, and you don't have to overthink it. Bye, Joanne. Thank you. Sorry, I'm taking so long. I'm almost done. So podcast ideas. Podcasts do have a tendency to be more serious. So a podcast is really great for market reports, where you want to get into, you know, all the nuts and bolts of that, home improvement things that are good for increasing the value of your home. What's good, what's not. That's a question people always have. It's a question I always have. Buyers tips, sellers tips, that sort of thing. So, you know, focus in though. You don't want to be all over the place. So you want to have a theme and, you know, roll with that. And then don't forget to implement those SEO techniques, the backlinks and the keywords, which we touched on earlier. Again, as always, you know, everything we talk about is always a bigger subject. You know, everything's bigger. But I want you to stop right now, and I want you to pick one. Just pick one subject, one idea. So I'm going to show you that again. Pick one thing that you can do a video, even if it's a 1-minute video, in the next week. So between now and next Tuesday, what's one thing you could do a video on? Write that down, plan it, tell me one thing that you would like it, something that you would really love, you know, that supports who you are and makes you happy. Buying process. Okay, very good. The buying process, especially right now, like it's different. All of that volunteering in the community. Absolutely. Those are all great things. Sellers tips to sell. Yep. And, you know, and put a twist on it. Don't be what everyone else is. Try to, you know, add a little something different. Again, Tracy and Rose do such a great job of that. I am actually finished, and there's my email address, jannis.paulk@gmail. If you have any questions, area attractions like downtown Melbourne. I love that, Cindy, so much.
Guys,
that is my favorite
questions to
area
the lovely
attractions.
Jannis. Do you guys have any
Anyone have questions?
Please. This is such an interesting topic, and this is where it's going. So no question is foolish.
That's absolutely right.
I think that can be confusing. You know, people get concerned with that, like, oh, if I ask this question, but if you're asking it, probably 90% of people want to know it as well.
And Tracy and Rose, you guys are such great role models for your people, because
No, go on.
you really are. You are so much, because, you know, I know myself, like, I've always been very aware of my professional persona, and there's something to be said for that. But at the same time, Rose made me do my first video.
I did that.
I believe that.
Oh, look at this.
Yay.
Sharon is going to do it. Awesome.
Sharon. I'm excited. When she does that, you guys have to send it to me. Or Sharon, you just send it to me. Send me a link after you do it.
And you want to know what's crazy is that I think that, you know, like, again, I don't mean to reiterate it, but like Rose is, you know, in her mid-20s, and some of us are not in our mid-20s, and maybe in our latter 30s or later 40s or early 50s or 60s or whatever it is. There is a demographic for everybody.
Darn right.
Demographic for everyone. Not everybody wants to be talked to from a 25-year-old or a 40-plus-year-old or a 60-year-old or an 80-year-old, but we all can find our group. And I think it resonates. I mean, people are looking for second homes. Maybe they don't want to talk to a specific type of person. Maybe they want somebody with more experience, or maybe somebody's relocating from California and they're in their mid-20s, and maybe they want somebody who's younger. So I think that there is a lot to be said about that. And that's why you guys should do these. I mean, I was petrified. This is not the Tracy Rose show, but I was petrified. I hate my voice.
I actually had to push her a little bit to start doing more videos and stuff. But she was like, Rose, you're so good at it. You do the interviews. You just do it. It's fine.
But I'm like, no, Tracy, be in it with me. Don't not do it, kids. Do it. And let us know about those YouTube videos for sure.
Oh, speaking of videos, we have a new video coming out tonight. It's going to be on Facebook at what time? 7 p.m.?
Yep,
7 p.m. It's super funny. It's about quarantine madness. So please tune in.
Just so you know, like our goal with our videos, and I love hearing your guys' goals, which is awesome, but like our goals with our videos is to give a little information, provide a little humor, and keep everything at a minute. That is our winning formula. I'd love to hear after this is over, when Jannis does our next class, what your guys' winning formula is going to be about how you're going to present your videos, because I'm so interested in hearing everybody else's perception and how they're going to get going on it. So any questions for our lovely Jannis, or are we going to hold out and email her on her own? Anybody?
Yeah, feel free to. And please, when you do a video, send it to me. I want to see it.
Ours.
Yes, I did. And it was great. It was really great.
And you know what? She gave us incredible feedback too. And we made the changes that she suggested.
We sure did. We sure did. So anything, guys? Well, Miss Jannis, you must have done a fantastic job giving everybody the information.
Let's do the giveaway.
Let's do Jannis. And Jannis, why don't you tell them again about what you're giving away?
Okay, so what I'm giving away is an hour consultation. And in that consultation, it can be a work session where we actually physically work on something that is giving you a challenge right now, or it can be a brainstorming session. We can audit something that you have. So it just really is up to what your needs are, but it's a great opportunity to make some headway.
Jannis, and tell them again, next week on Thursday, or this Thursday, is going to be
paper clips.
Paper clips.
Pay-per-click. Yeah, pay-per-click.
And again, Jannis is an amazing PR specialist. If you're looking for any of assistance, this is, I have to say, and probably unsure, it's maybe a little tacky to say this in front of Jannis. This is a woman who is not a hard pusher as far as sales. I would definitely reach out to her. She's lovely. She's been nothing but wonderful to us. And she's just great. She's just great.
She's wonderful.
We love her.
We did just get a question. Shannon asked, Tracy and Rose, how can I find your YouTube channel? So our YouTube channel, if you go on YouTube and just search Supreme Title Closings, you will find us. But I will also include the link to our channel in the email that I'll send out on Thursday.
Yep, for sure. Jannis, why don't you go ahead and draw that number for us? Pick a number between 1 and
28.
28.
And some people fall off.
Well, since 81% of YouTube users are between the age of 15 and 25, let's go with 15.
I like it.
Yes.
1, 2,
like how I drove that point home.
8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Angela! Is that Angela Kratz? I think it's Angela Kratz.
Right? Is it Angela Kratz? Go ahead, Angela, type in the chat bar at the bottom and let us know if that's
Congratulations!
So that we
very nice. Very nice.
Okay.
Angela?
She might not be.
Angela, you there, girl?
So, all right, we'll wait till Angela hits us back, but thank you guys so much. We're going to leave this on for Angela to let us know if she got that. And we will see all of you in the Zoom room again with Jannis Paulk on Thursday at 10 pay-per-click at 10 a.m. And if you need anything, all of Jannis's information is here. We're also going to upload all of this information to our YouTube channel, and then we're going to send out everything, all links to
all the links to all the classes are going to go out on Thursday.
So you'll have everything. You'll be fully set from that point forward. Wishing everybody a great rest of the week. And we will talk to you all Thursday. Bye.
Thank you.